Hi everyone, I'm Karen Robinson from littlepaperparty.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Australia, and today I'm back. I'm doing a 12 weeks of Halloween series, and today I have the 6th project to share with you, which is going to be this little, well, it's actually pretty big, trick-or-treat tote is what I'm calling it, and I think it turned out really cute. So I'm going to mix it up a little bit, and we're going to make it out of terracotta tile cardstock today. So you're going to need a piece that is 9.5 by 5 inches for the base, for the actual tote, and then 2 pieces for the handles. I cut these to 3/8 of an inch by 7 inches. On my original one, I did make it 1/2 inch wide, and it just seemed a little bit too thick for me, so I'm trying it a bit thinner this time. So you can choose whatever you would prefer, but I'm going to try the 3/8 today. So I'm grabbing out the Simply Scored. I'm going to pop my cardstock in there, and we're going to score it on the long side, on the 9.5 inch side, at 1 1/4, 4 1/2, 5 3/4, and 9 inches. And then I'm just going to turn it 90 degrees and score it at 1 1/4 to form the base. But I'm going to turn it back in the original orientation. So it's very important that you have this small 1/2 inch score line on the right hand side, and we're going to make some partial scores so that we can form some gussets for the side of the bag. So I'm going to grab a ruler, it doesn't matter what kind of ruler you have, and I'm just going to line it up with, you have markings on the side of the Simply Scored as well, and I'm going to line it up approximately with the 3 1/4 inch mark here, and then I'm going to score it, my cardstock, at 5/8 of an inch down to my ruler, and then at 5 1/8 of an inch. Sorry, I'm having to look at my directions more closely. They're not very well written. Okay, and that's it for the Simply Scored. Before we put our scoring tool away, we're going to join up these partial score lines that we made. So hopefully you can see, so we've got our base here, and we're going to join it up just in the corners to make little triangles. So grab your ruler and just run along there. It's not going to be as deep as when we're using the Simply Score, because we're pushing into a groove. So someone's doing some sort of work on a car or using some sort of machine up the road. I don't know if you can hear that. Hope not. But I can't do anything about that. So I've made my 2 little triangles. Now before I go folding, burnishing, or anything, I actually want to do my stamping first. It is much easier to do this when your cardstock is completely flat. And I'm going to be using the Celebrations Tidings stamp set, and I'm going to be using this big spiderweb image plus a spider. So I don't want the I've already got these mounted on blocks, and I don't want any stamping on the sides. If this was a really big image and maybe I could get all the way around, then that would be great, but I can't, and I didn't think it looked good. So I've got some post-it notes, and I'm just going to do some very simple masking so that I can just get the stamping where I want it to be. So I'm using post-it notes. You could use like purple tape or washi tape or painter's tape or anything you wanted to mask off. You don't have to mask it off if you don't want to. And another advantage too is it's going to keep my cardstock still in place, so I don't have to worry about it moving when I stamp. And if you've got like the really big post-it notes, that would be even better. So I'm just going to use Memento black ink. Move that out of the way. Ink up my stamp. So I've been using glitter paper recently, and my stamps had glitter in them. So I'm really hoping that I've managed to get it all out. Ooh, I feel like I'm taking ink off. I definitely am. Okay, I'm having a stamping crisis. Okay. Once again, sorry about that. I have to backtrack. I'll be quick. I wanted to add a little decorative element to the top of the bag, And I am backtracking. You could definitely do this after stamping, but I don't want to stamp too high, so which is why I'm backtracking. I decided to add like a little cutout here. I just like the look of it, so I'm using the everyday label punch to do that. You could use any bigger label punch that you had, just to give like a little decorative effect, but I'm just using this one because I liked how it looked. So you have two bigger panels here, which is going to be the front and the back of your bag. I just popped it in, and this one's good because I can really line up exactly how deep I want it to be punched out. So I'm lining it up to like the first kind of straight line after the bump, trying to center it side to side, and then I'm just going to punch out a bit there. And then I'm going to do the same, exactly the same with the back, so it looks nice from the front and the back. All right. Sorry about that. I don't want to start again. I've already had to start it again. Sorry, because I made a mistake cutting my cardstock. It was the wrong size. What? How did I even do that? Okay. So we'll be fast. The stamping is very, very simple on this, and you could definitely like step it up and add more. Okay. So I'm stamping my spiderweb image side to side. Beautiful. I'm so pleased. This stamp set just stamps so well. I've had really good success with it, so I'm very happy. And then I'm going to add it to the bottom as well, because my decoration is simple. I just want to add a little bit more. And I'm going to add a couple of spiders, because it's a spider web, so you've got to have spiders with it. I'm already inky. It's a gift. Coming down from the spider web. Beautiful. That's really nice. Now, because this is a 3D project, I did stamp the back as well. So I am quickly going to do that because you can't stamp it afterwards. And I tried that the first time I made the bag. I assembled it and I thought, oh, I wouldn't mind putting that there. It didn't work. So I didn't think it was going to work, and it didn't work. So I'm just going to quickly move my Post-it notes and stamp the back of it. I'm planning on sending these to school with my youngest son around Halloween for a little, with some little treats in there for his teachers. Yeah, I think they're really, really cute. I think that they'll like them. So I probably will put a few little sweets in there, but I want to put some other stuff as well, not just lollies. So I don't know, maybe some small stationery items might be good. So yeah, I'll have to have a look around and see what tickles my fancy, and when Halloween-y stuff starts to come out, it doesn't come out here until beginning of October, kind of very end of September, so it's not going to be out yet, but I'll have to see if there's any little funny things that catch my eye. All right, oops daisy, that's all the stamping. Throwing my bits around. Okay, beautiful. It's so simple. Masking is so simple, but it looks so nice. Right, so what I'm going to do now is I am going to fold and burnish, because we're going to be adding some more embellishment. So I added all the embellishment except the handles to my tote before I assembled it. Because it just was easier that way. But now I'm going to fold and burnish. So I've got the flat stuff on, and trim off any little bits I need to add. Oh gee whiz, I did do well, didn't I? I actually got ink on my hands, sorry. When I dropped my my lid, I've got ink on my desk and I don't want it to travel anywhere else, so I'm just having a little bit of a clean up just on the screen. So on one side you'll see that you have a very skinny tab, and that is what's going to join your bag together. So we are going to snip off this bottom rectangle entirely, and normally you would wedge in, but I'm going to actually wedge in quite a bit more than I would usually, because these gussets at the side I want to fold out, and if I just do a little wedge in, it'll actually like hit that and it won't fold out, pop out as nicely. So I'm actually going to give it quite a deep one, but normally you wouldn't need to wedge it out that much. Zip a little bit off the top, cut up the tabs, wedge those in as well. So I finally chosen a lighter cardstock today, so hopefully you can see all the score lines. I've been tending to, or gravitating towards these darker colours, which is great unless you want to see what's going on. And then not so great. So before I forget, I am going to do the gussets. So I'm going to have mine popping out. I just like that look. It looks just a little bit more like a tote. You could definitely push them in though if you preferred it that way. So I'm just going to finger fold these, and I'm just going to give these little triangles just a little bit of help, encouragement to get them to start going the right way, the way that I want them to, outwards. You do want to be careful because you don't want to make a fold, a crease going the wrong way. Okay, then before we continue, I'm also going to add my tape while the bag is flat. So I'm using tear and tape. Sorry, I don't know what my voice is doing. It's all croaky. It sounds funny. On the side, you could add a second piece here. I'm not going to bother about it. Oh, adding too much. So this is the tab. It's going to come around and be at the back of our bag. So this is going to be the front. So I'm going to add tear and tape here. I'm going to add a couple of pieces. Because this is quite a big bag, you can put quite a bit in it and it could have quite a bit of weight. And I am going to add just a couple of pieces to these, to the side tabs as well. And as I went so far over on that, I am just going to trim off this little bit of tape here. Normally I would wait and just roll it back, but I've actually gone quite a bit over, and that's going to stick to things and get in the way. So our tape is ready for our bag to assemble when we're ready for it. So we're going to add though the last little bits of decoration here, which is easier to do while it's flat because I can push down. So to decorate it, I decided to add just a silly little word. So on this one I added eek, and on this one though I'm going to make the word boo. So to die cut these, I use the Playful Alphabet dies, which are in the annual catalogue, and you have all these letters there. They're awesome. As soon as I saw these, I knew I had to get them. I really like making my own sentiments, and yeah. So I've already die cut these ahead of time. I've die cut them out of the Plaid Tidings DSP. It's a great way to use up your scraps. And I've also die cut them to pop them up out of the foam adhesive sheets, which are fun to work with as well. So this is a little tip that I saw another demonstrator use, and I am sorry I cannot remember who they are, but yeah, I saw them do it and I was quite pleased with it, to kind of putting your letters together. So I've die cut my letters out separately from my foam, because of course the foam's going to squish a little bit as it goes through, and yeah, I just kind of think the paper's maybe not going to work out as well. So, but I have left, so I've die cut my foam. I've left my letters in there with the backing on them. So I have cheated. I've added the little dot at the bottom because it's a bit fiddly and you don't want to see me fiddling with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take off this top layer of sticky and then leave it in, and then I'm popping my letter over the top. And it's just going to fit in there. It's like, I can't think of the inlay. Yes, that's it. I'm inlaying my letters into the opening. So I actually really enjoy this. So I have done it where I pop them out and then I've been putting the letters and the foam together kind of separately in the air, and that does work out okay. but I am finding that this is a bit better. And then just a little bit of the exclamation mark. Okay, so now I'm ready to pop these out entirely. Pop out my centers. So, oopsie daisy, I didn't want to take the back off. I'm still keeping the backing on because this way I can just lay them out how I want them to be. Okay, and that one I'm actually just going to wait for a minute because, like I said, it's a fiddliest. So this is a couple of nice big pieces of dimensional. So don't throw these away. I keep my sometimes I keep at least one backing sheet from my dimensionals when I finished it. So I've got a couple in here. So I've got my other inserts from my O's, and I've just popped them on there, and I will just use them as a normal dimensional. So it's all dimensional. All of this stuff, all the scraps are all dimensionals. So you can just snip them up and use them as regular dimensionals. So yeah, don't throw them away because you're just throwing away money then. So let's pop out. I'm just going to pop out the bits of my bees. Inserts. I won't keep these little tiny ones, but you definitely could. I mean, we have mini dimensionals, so I'm an attraction for ink and stick. And then I'm just going to pop them on my bag how I think I would like to have them. So I want them a little bit wobbly. And then when I have them how I want, I'm going to stick them in place. Just remove the backing, and then you just have a sticker. So with the O, you can have it like kind of fat like that, or you could have it up the other way. I'm just going to have it the fat way because I like it that way. And now my exclamation mark. You don't have to add the exclamation mark. I just like to pop that up, and then I am going to pop out a little bit. So I have a question if anybody knows the answer to it. So I have heard that the dots above your J's and your I's are tittles, so are called tittles. I just am wondering, is the dot that's goes with exclamation marks and other grammatical things, is that also a tittle, or does that have a different name? I don't know. I'll have to have a look because I was thinking that the other day when I was putting these together. Random thoughts pop into my head. So the last thing I'm going to add while it's flat is I wanted a little, well, I have a bit more sparkle, but a little bit of sparkle. So I'm going to pop some rhinestones on there. So my very well loved rhinestones. This is the last of the old packaging, the old style, and you can colour them in with blends, as you can see I've done here. And I'm just going to add just a few over the dots here, just for a little bit of sparkle on the front, because you're going to have sparkle at Halloween as well. You could add a lot more than this. I mean, you can decorate them however you want. So, but I think that's good. So now I'm going to put my bag together. So remove my tear and tape with the backing from the side tab. So normally you could lie this flat and put it together, but I did find for this one that it worked better on the side. So I'm lining up the top. And then, okay, I'm not lining up the top. Not at the top. I'm just pressing it together really lightly so that if I do make a mistake lining it up, then I can pull it apart and not tear my bag, because tear and tape is a nice strong tape, which is what you want. That's it. And then I'm just going to give it a little bit of a burnish from the inside, and then the rest is easier. So I'm going to fold my little tabs in, remove the backing from the tape, fold my little tabs in. Use my grid paper to make sure everything's straight as well. Because I have trimmed up so high, on this side, you'll notice that when I'm folding this in, this kind of wants to pop out a little bit. So just watch that and make sure that it is nice and square, that side. Use my bone folder just to pop those closed, and then stick down my front. Once again, just making sure everything's square. Then I'm going to use my bone folder, or you know, a ruler or something, just to give it a bit of a burnish and keep everything together securely on the inside. So that is my basic bag, and so I've got it so my gussets are outwards. I just like the look of that. I had the idea of tote in mind, and so to me that looks like a tote. So for the handles, originally I used some Tombow, and because they're going to get handled a little bit, it just didn't seem as secure as I wanted. So I have decided, I went back to staple it, and I have covered the staples because they look horrible. So I did find they were a little bit fiddly, so I'm really hoping that I can do this on camera. If I don't, I actually have one ready to go. So before you start, just give your handle pieces a light burnish with your bone folder. I forgot what it was called for a second there. And that will just help it curve in the direction that you want. And then to keep it in place, which was the fiddly part, I'm going to use some glue dots just to hold it in place while I'm stapling it. So I'm going to put one on either end. I might as well just do both pieces while I'm here. And then I'm going to pop this inside. So about how, you know, I do want to try to center it side to side, and you know, how far down you want is kind of up to you. You can adjust this. You could make these handles much longer if you want to. And then once I've got it in, I'm going to grab a stapler. So I am using, this is our old retired stapler. We don't sell this anymore, but it's great. But it does have a slightly smaller size staple than a standard stapler. So you do want to do that. I think that looks better. So if you have a small stapler or a mini attacher, a small attacher or something, it's a bit better. So I'm purposely stapling it with this part on the outside. So whatever I put inside isn't going to catch on it. There aren't going to be any sharp bits on the inside. You are going to see the staples on the inside. Once it's full of treats, I don't think that's going to matter at all. And if it does bother you, you could definitely cover it up with a piece of cardstock or something else, a little bit of decoration on the inside, but that's not going to bother me. Okay, so the last one, but I did find this was just the easiest way to do it. The glue dot keeps it in place long enough for me to be able to staple it securely. But if these aren't going to be handled very much, you might not need that step, but I'm going to do that because of how I'm planning on using them. So this is our bag, and those staples look absolutely horrible. So they needed to be covered. So what I did was I punched out a few stars. Oh, I've got way too many stars. From using a retired punch that I have out of the black glitter cardstock that is in the holiday catalogue. If you don't have stars, you could use little circles. You could use any shape you have. Odds are you probably have some sort of small punches around. But I'm using the stars because I like them. And I'm going to attach them with some mini black dimensionals to cover the staples. So I'm using dimensionals. I like it. It's adding just another layer or element to my bag, my project, which makes it a little bit more interesting, I think. And the dimensionals also, I find them to be a little bit forgiving over uneven surfaces, bumpy surfaces. And so because I'm putting them over a staple, so I'm just putting them on and having the points of my stars, moving it around so that they will cover the entire staple, because that's what they're there for. So they're there for a bit of embellishment and also a bit of disguise. And I'm doing the same to the back because this, once again, I've added stamping to the back. This is a 3D project. It's going to be seen from the front and the back. So a little bit of, you know, something on the back just makes it nice as well. And also, you know, I don't want to see those at the back either. Okay, so the very last thing to add is a nice big bow of this metallic mesh ribbon. So this is so pretty. It's just so pretty, and even more sparkle. So I wanted quite a generous bow. This is probably way too generous, but anyway. It ties beautifully. It really is so easy to tie. And because it's, you know, metallic, it's got some metallic in it, it keeps its shape, like its fluff. It doesn't go flat. Big scissors. Okay, that's beautiful. My tails are a little bit too long, but not much too long. That's not good English, is it? Send it the other way. All right, I'll come back and fuss with that undoubtedly later. Clear my mess off. So this is my little treat tote. It's all ready to go. It's ready to fill up with goodies, and this will take a lot of goodies. So I have some stuff to show you. So I can put in, this is just a standard size Tic Tacs. A whole bunch of stuff here. So depending on where you live, you know, you're going to be able to get different things. These are some Hershey miniatures, they're called. I found these at Aldi in Australia. You can get them at some other shops, but that's where I have found them. Mini Mentos, some Starbursts. This is a mini Chupa Chup, a couple of other small lollies, a little thing of candy corn. Oh, hold on, I added too many things in there. Hold on. Maybe a little mini thing of candy corn. I kind of like it, if I'm going to fill up a goodie bag, I like it to be really full. So I like it having stuff kind of sticking out the top. I probably would get a big Chupa Chup there, a full size one. And so yeah, so as you can see, this is going to hold absolutely stacks and stacks and stacks. And you could also get a cellophane bag and like kind of really fill it up and then pop it inside so it can all kind of spill out without actually spilling out. So that's why I wanted to add extra tear and tape on the bottom, because that's actually pretty weighty in there. And those are just a few ideas. I mean, you can fill it up with lots of other things if you wanted to. So just move all that stuff out of the way. So, everything's flying out of my hands today. I'm not sure what's going on. So I just need to cut this ribbon just one more smidge, one more hair of a smidge. So that's my project today. 2 little tote bags. These are really, really cute. They turned out so beautifully. I hope you like them. You can fit lots in these. So this is the one that has the 1/2 inch handle, and this one has 3/8 of an inch. So up to you, whatever you would prefer. I mean, obviously this one's a bit sturdier, but I found it was a little bit more challenging to kind of curve. It really wanted to spring out, but really cute and simple. And you can decorate these however you want to as well. I mean, I added the stamping around here, but what you put in the middle could be different. You could add some of the little owls from the Have a Hoot stamp set, our little Halloween owls that are in there. There are other Halloween images. There's in the annual catalogue, there's a pumpkin stamp set with a jack-o'-lantern and a coordinating punch that was from last year, and you might have that. You can put anything in there. I just put the words because I love the words, and I just thought it was funny, and I can add a little bit of pattern into what is a very simple project. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's project, and yeah, I will see you next week. Okay, bye.